Evening and welcome to the 2021 Signatures of Loudoun Design Excellence Awards ceremony. First off, I just want to make sure, Chris, you've got us recording.
I do.
Okay. I'm Kelly Williams, and I'm a planner in the Department of Planning and Zoning. And I'd like to introduce the Loudoun County Design Cabinet as the presenters of the awards this evening. The Design Cabinet was formed in 2003 in partnership with the Department of Economic Development. The Cabinet is an award-winning volunteer group of professional architects, planners, and engineers who support economic development by encouraging quality design in Loudoun's built spaces. The mission of the Cabinet is to encourage the highest quality design in the belief that the quality built environment leads to enhanced economic development. The Cabinet was formed, they formed the Signatures of Loudoun program 15 years ago in order to recognize exceptional building, interior, landscaping design in Loudoun. And each year, Loudoun residents and members of the business community are invited to nominate outstanding projects from around the county. Before we proceed to the awards, I do have a couple of announcements. First, as you heard, this evening's ceremony will be recorded and posted to the Signatures of Loudoun webpage later this week. Through the process of the award ceremony, once each award has been presented, we will give the recipient or representative an opportunity to provide some brief comments about their project. And if you would, please keep your microphones on mute if you're not speaking. That will help with the recording as well as everybody to hear what's being said. And now I'd like to turn the ceremony over to the Design Cabinet Chair, Alfred Gooden, and Martha Mason Sims to present the 2021 Signatures of Loudoun Design Awards.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Welcome, everyone, to our first virtual design awards for Loudoun County. Our first award goes to the category of pace setters. Now, what pace setters are, they're projects that set the bar and the benchmark really for what the future of design of a space, an environment, or even a building type. Our first winner is the Akron Sheriff Station, which is definitely a pacemaker, especially when you think about it as a public safety building that doesn't look like this typical architecture of Northern Virginia's government buildings of red brick and columns. What else is so great about this project is where one of the things about these police stations is they are fitting into the community that they serve. And this one is fitting because it's right next door to One Loudoun. So that contemporary design fits very well with the community that it serves. I think the other interesting thing that the cabinet found is that it has a lot of sustainable elements in its design. And the great thing about it, they weren't just proposed in the design, they actually were implemented and built. And especially in these times where building buildings for the public have uncertain budgets, it was followed through and enhanced in this project. The wonderful thing about this, again, is looking and appearing to be part of the community it is. So being near One Loudoun, it has that techie look, but it also, if you can see by the sloping roofs, it works as a great forefront to the Blue Ridge Mountains in its background. So it represents all of Loudoun, the western skyline, as well as the techie world. So we'd like to congratulate for our first recipient of the Pace Setter Awards to the Akron Sheriff Station. I understand that Thomas Lee, the architect, will be receiving the award. Thomas?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the award, and we really appreciated the opportunity to complete this project for Loudoun County Department of Transportation and Capital Infrastructure and work with the Sheriff Department of Loudoun County and Sheriff Chapman. It was a real great opportunity for us. As you mentioned, we did do a lot of work in One Loudoun to see what the palette of materials and what the fit would be with the community here. And it gave us an opportunity to design a building that's very high security, but still had inviting approach and interface to the public. It had some unique security concerns, but we wanted to really establish a visual presence on its immediate site where it was surrounded by multi-story neighbors as well. So some of the angular roofs gave it an opportunity to not be overly diminutive among its neighbors. But really, there was a great project for all involved, and we really appreciate the award. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Yeah, great work. Nice work. Appropriate.
Yes, our next award goes to the area of interiors. That award goes to the Echelon Urban Wine Bar. And no pun intended on the flights of wine, but this is a top flight job, especially when you think about some of the adversities that this project went through. First, I don't know if you're aware of it, but it used to be it is in the basement, but it used to be a storage space for previously an antique store. But the great use of lighting, the great use of architecture and ambiance and the materials, you don't feel like you're in a basement. You feel like you're in a fine restaurant in our county. One of the great success about this project also is timing. The owners decided to move forward with this project in the time of pandemic when we were all shut down and the whole thought of going to a restaurant or a wine bar wasn't even on the foresight. But the owners knew that we would get through this and knew that they needed to create a space that would be welcoming those residents of Loudoun County and have them enjoy a great time together and a great time of a glass of wine. So we actually celebrate this gem, not only for its beautiful design, but the beautiful ambiance, the use of materials, and the use of lighting, but the fact that they endeavored and they actually represent what Loudoun County is about. Move forward, move on, move together. So again, we congratulate the Echelon Urban Wine Bar as our recipient of Interiors Award. And I understand the architect, Dieter Meyer. Dieter,
Yeah.
You're going to receive the award.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good.
Sir.
My camera isn't working for some reason, so at least you can hear me. So we appreciate the award, and I think you gave it a good description, kind of in the way we were thinking about the project when we were working on it, it being kind of a derelict space in this basement. It took some vision to find an owner that would proceed with a project in a space like that. But Amy and Todd, the owners of Echelon Wine Bar and also Lost Creek Winery, had a vision that we shared right from the very beginning, and that's really the key to all our most successful projects, is where you have a great team, including the owner, Amy and Todd, the contractor on this one, Peter Mullally Construction, who just went above and beyond to do everything we wanted to do when we were just futzing with the smallest of details. He never complained about any of it. And then the rest of our team on the project, Lynn Guy, our architectural project manager, Jeff and Christine over at Aspire Engineering, also did great work on this project to make to get the mechanical system in this basement to work. It was a real challenge getting something to work and fit, to get our range hoods in a basement. Probably one of the more difficult projects that, from a technical standpoint, that we've really faced, and then to make the aesthetics work at the same time. So we really appreciate the recognition, and again, thanks to the whole team.
May I say just a little bit, since it's located in Leesburg?
Yeah.
Can I be
Sure.
I just want to say that I took a group down there over the weekend, and their question to me was, where did we turn into DC? They were so impressed by it. I thought it was just a wonderful place, and it is.
And of course, you answered, when did DC turn into Leesburg, right?
Damn right I did.
I think something that you don't pick up from the photos at all is its location below the sidewalk in a historic town. What unbelievable irony. So congratulations, Dieter, and to the team. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yes, if I could add to that, one of my favorite things about it is actually how you get to it. So there's this one single door, and it's almost like you feel like you're going into a speakeasy. Like you should have a secret knock.
Right.
That would be great. But thank you again. Thank you. Wonderful job. Wonderful job.
Thanks.
Martha?
Sure, great job. Hi, everyone. Again, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. It's my pleasure to award the next award, which is in the category of makeovers. And makeovers to us are projects that really take a space that maybe was underutilized or used in a different way and really upgrade it, turn it into something that better fits its environment and blends in well. This was a great example. And this is a King and Loudoun project. Actually, this was also Dieter Meyer is also the architect for this one. And for those of you who don't know, the Echelon bar is below this building, in the basement of this building. And the door, I think the door into it is the one on the left in the bottom.
To the left,
picture.
yes.
Right.
Right. So just to give you that background. But let me read you some of the comments of some of the design cabinet members about this project, with obviously the before on top and the after on the bottom. Definitely award worthy as a makeover for an important corner in downtown Leesburg, breaking down a big box into smaller storefronts and retail spaces that appear to be different buildings. Very interesting style mix for the new storefronts that fit well into the rhythm, scale, and streetscape of the historic downtown. And I might say, if you were to look at the rest of the facades on both sides of King Street in that area, you know, they did a great job of picking up the proportion and the scale of those other buildings, providing, you know, a little bit of a cornice there to provide some difference in that, break up that straight roof and all. It's just great. But this is the King Street facade that you're looking at. And while it maybe the details are more interesting than the Loudoun Street side, really by adding fenestration along that King Street side, they really added an interest and an invitation for folks that are on the outside to come in that wasn't there before. So really added a whole nother another side to this building that really was just a blank wall. So again, Dieter Meyer is representing, and it was the architect for this project, and will be receiving this award. And congratulations for a job well done here.
Well, thank you, Martha. I appreciate that. And again, we appreciate the recognition as well on this project. This was one, this is kind of a labor of love project for me, in that this is in my own neighborhood. All the build out that we did in here, and redoing the building, and some of the others that I've done. When you work throughout the region and up and down the East Coast, to do something in your own backyard is always really rewarding. Mm-hmm. And this was a project that I've probably wanted to do for about the last 15 years or so. I remember sitting across the street on a bench, looking at what was really something that just did not fit that corner, which had a very prominent building. It was the old Opera House site in Leesburg. And while we weren't able to do something quite as elaborate as what was there before, fixing what was essentially an attempt to put around 1960 to put a suburban strip style shopping center downtown, because that was thought what you needed to do at that time. It was kind of wrong-headed, maybe good intention, but not the right approach. And to be able to fix that is, something really rewarding for me. in my career here. Really proud of how this turned out, and again, want to thank the whole team. We had a great owner, Bill Kamak over at Cloverdale, who did all the right things on the project. Everything, we basically stripped it down to its core and made it wheelchair accessible by putting an elevator in down to the basement, all new electrical, mechanical systems, and of course all the facade work. And as I think was pointed out in the review, it really does fit the rhythm of the street much better. And again, the rest of the team, in addition to Bill, Mullally Construction also did a great job on building this. Lynn Guy, who was the project manager on this, I may have misspoken. Casey from my firm was the project manager for Echelon, so I want to make sure I credit her as well. And then Aspire Engineering and Ross Stevens over at Kimley Horn did the civil work, and Top Level Engineering did the structural. And also a big thank you to Vintage Building out of Winchester, who was the millwork contractor, because we had some really authentic millwork detailing that we wanted to do that we was critical to make this project work the way we wanted it to, and they did a great job in executing and fixing stuff. Were a couple things that were, this is not really what we wanted to do here, and they jumped right on fixing those things as well. So another great team effort. So thanks again for the recognition.
And can I add a little bit on this one? If we, anytime I see that Dieter is involved in a project in Leesburg, I get very excited, because this is the kind of project that he really brings forward to the town. And so we are truly delighted and very excited that that's there. And congratulations. Great job.
Thanks for those kind words, Kelly.
Okay,
Peter, if I could just add, it's again ironic that you were on the BAR, so you know full well that if a project goes in one side and comes out the other, and it's still a great project, that is a greater honor than a normal architectural design project without a BAR. So double and triple congratulations.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, so we are going to stick to the Leesburg theme here. You all had just some excellent nominations this year, so thank you very much. And this one is really near and dear to my heart. It's you all have seen many of probably the love sculptures around in Virginia, but this one was uniquely designed. I should say this is the Friends of Leesburg Public Art that would be the recipients of this award, and part of the town of Leesburg. And this one, they decided, because it is located on this little tiny, it's a little unusable maybe triangular piece of land between the new development down on South Harrison Street and the W&OD hiking and biking trail, that they decided to do their love sculpture out of bicycle parts. So that's what you see here. The sculptor, Michael Clay, I happen to know, is an avid cyclist. So I'm sure that he was thrilled to be able to do this project. So it's very easy to get to. It's right off of the sidewalk there on South Harrison Street. So you can see people enjoy going over and taking a look at it and playing on it. And it's just a very well executed, wonderfully themed version of the love sculpture for Leesburg. I believe, just from my own take on the Friends of Leesburg Public Art, have just been stepping up their game year after year and enriching the lives of the folks who and the business who live and work here in Leesburg by the public art that they have provided, including the sculpture park right across the street from this. And so congratulations to the Friends of Leesburg Public Art and the support that Leesburg gives to them. I assume Mayor Burke, you were going to actually accept this award on their behalf.
Well, that's true. I don't know if Vice Mayor Martinez is online. But this particular design is very amusing to me because I worked with the woman that was the wife of the sculptor, and she was so happy because all of that stuff was in her house. So because by that she loves it. And, but we're very proud of it, and we're very excited about our Commission on Public Art. They do a lot for the town to bring public art. And that was always a dream of mine, to be able to make Leesburg a place that people came to for music and art. And, and we're getting there. So I'm very excited to accept this, and thank you very much.
Congratulations again. And I should have said that this award is in the details category, and it is those small details that we find in our environment that really enrich our lives. It might be a sculpture, it might be a mural, it might be, we found some, birdhouse stuck on a bunch of birdhouses stuck on a telephone pole in Waterford years ago that just, make us smile, that take a little bit of the weariness out of the day. So this is a perfect example of that. As is the next award. And the next one, again, is the Friends of Leesburg Public Art. And we toyed around with, we've got these wonderful but very different pieces of public art. And we just felt that we had to create a new category for this one. So this one, we usually have a category, obviously, of details, which this would qualify as, but we also have a category of familiar. And the familiar category is something that you might have thought was there all the time. It might be a new project, but it looks so much like it's always been there. And this is a sculpture. So we called it familiar details. Anyway, so this familiar detail award goes to this wonderful sculpture of Stanley Hawkins. Stanley was a long time downtown Leesburg businessman. You might have known Hawkins Jewelers. He was on the airport commission for years for the town. Just wonderful community man, community volunteer. And it's such a wonderfully accurate portrayal of him. And here's a couple of the comments from our cabinet I wanted to share. It not only commemorates town history and community, but also provides a bench for people walking along King Street, a very functional bench. It's a fun and functional addition to the streetscape. And this is my comment. Those who knew Stanley have been known to sit a spell with him from time to time. It really is kind of, and you might have seen, during the pandemic, sometimes people would paint, maybe children would paint things on rocks, little messages, and leave them around. Well, Stanley has collected quite a few rocks in his day as well already, since he's been there. So again, congratulations on a beautifully, wonderfully done sculpture, Friends of Leesburg Public Art. The cabinet is very grateful that you continue to provide these wonderful additions to our streetscape and to our public realm. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, Stanley was born in Leesburg. He lived all of his life in Leesburg, except for his military service, and he died in Leesburg. And he had a business in downtown for over 40 years. And he was the one that, if you ever thought about starting a business, or if you wanted to start in politics, or you wanted to start doing something different, he was the one that you went and talked to. He would sit you down and talk to you about his experiences and give you such kind and gentle encouragement. I do remember he told me when I decided I was going to run for the mayor, he said, he pulled me aside one day and he said, now you're elected. Now you may be a Democrat or a Republican, but you have to remember you represent all of Leesburg. And I always remember that. That was very sincere and honest of him. And, the Commission on Public Art had a committee that put this together and raised money for it. And the only problem is in the summertime, he gets hot. So you have to be careful when it's hot. But, in the summertime, Stanley got hot and you had to be careful when he was hot. So I want to thank you all for remembering Stanley this way. And I have to tell you, I'm one of those people that often sits down there and talks to Stanley still. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Short piece here. I had visitors from South Florida here for a lacrosse tournament in Maryland, and they said, "Could we see the historic town of Leesburg? Is that the place to go?" I said, "Yeah, that's absolutely the place to go." And so we walked, 4 blocks in every direction from this piece. But it was here that they spent most of the time talking, taking photographs, and sitting with Stanley. And they're not even from Leesburg, so a very successful. It's just such a straight up story that it tells. So congratulations.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Our next award is another award in the pace setters. As we said, sometimes it's a benchmark for the future of the design of a space, of an environment, and a building type. This one actually addresses all 3 of this. What's great about this private school, it is a great addition to our built environment of Loudoun County and the use of the site. It's a great addition on the future of a building type, and it also commemorates the history of Loudoun County. And what the cabinet appreciated so well is the placement of this new addition and how it celebrated and respected the one-room school building that you see to the left, and renovated it. Slightly put in the foreground. It was a great addition. The use of the materials and the proportioning and of the new building were very respectful to this proportioning of the historic building. And the thing that we represented so much about it is about Loudoun is Loudoun is so rich in its history and in education, but is also so rich in its future. So the technology, the use of materials, and the new things represents the future site, the future goings of the technology and education, but it also respects the where we were. And if I can quote one of the cabinet members, one of they said it was, you should never forget your past if you are able to advance to your future. With that statement, we'd like to congratulate the Loudoun School for Advanced Studies for an award in pace setters. I understand that Chuck Swartz, you're here and you're going to receive the award.
Yes, thanks for having us. I'm Chuck Swartz, and this is Beth Reeder. We're married to each other. We have other people in our office, but we're the only people that live in our house. So, yeah, so this project was a labor of love for us. We actually did the original school, Ideal Schools, in a tech flex space in Loudoun County as well. And so any project that is worth a hoot, I think, has to have a great client and a great builder. So Deep Shran and the Loudoun School for Advanced Studies were amazing clients. Hammerhead Construction in Leesburg built this project. It was very difficult. It looked like a pleasant field. It turns out that the ground was a lot of fill and was unstable. We built it during the time when it rained every single day. So there are lots of things floating on the construction site and the foundations. And I have to say on this one, a funny thing happened too. I have to thank Loudoun County Planning and Zoning. This is at the edge of the historic district in Ashburn. And we got a letter in the, I guess in the email, not in the mail anymore, maybe it's in the mail, that said, you need to explain to us about the height, the size, the roof pitch, the material selection, the proportions, and the fenestration. So those of you that are architects know that's the whole building. So we actually, since we have 12 reasons for everything we do, we explained the roof pitches to match the old schoolhouse and sun paths and the overhangs for shading, and the sizes of the classroom that you see in the photograph that relate to the one-room schoolhouse. And we got back to this remarkable document that said, okay, that makes sense. You can go ahead with it. So I'd like to thank Loudoun County as well.
Thank you. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next award is a makeover. And as Martha was saying earlier, makeovers can sometimes be spaces that were left and not used anymore, they're repurposed, revitalized, totally changed. And sometimes it's something like this. It's where they restore it and preserve the past. And this one here is a perfect example of how you preserve and you bring back to life a very unique history of Western Loudoun. This is to us, it shows us by its name, the Walker Farmer Tenant House is exactly that. It gives that royal vernacular and it reminds us how it can demonstrate how we live in this very high modern technology county, but we can never forget our past again. This simple design was well executed and very meticulous detail to make sure that those elements and details of that makeover were enhanced and celebrated. For that, they gave this building new life and new appreciation from the cabinet. For that, we give the Walker Farm Tenant House the award of makeovers. I understand that, is Martha with you, Robert? Yeah, Martha and Robert? You know, Thomas, you are going to receive the award.
Yep, my wife Marcia is with
Marcia,
me.
excuse me.
And I was hoping that John Burroughs, our architect, would also be here, but I
I
haven't
think
heard
he's
from him.
there.
Oh,
I think I
good,
see him there.
good.
Oh,
Well, I've got a couple comments to make, and then hopefully if John has something to say to elaborate. But I particularly want to thank the Loudoun County Planning and Zoning and the Design Cabinet for selecting this project for the Makeover Award. I would also like to thank John Burroughs of New Leaf Architectural Design and his wife Marilyn, and Drew Lawton of Lawton Construction, who they did the design work and the construction execution was beyond compare. It was just exceptional. And the house, this was the last unrestored house in the historic village of Waterford. It had sat vacant for almost 15 years and had sadly been the target of occasional vandalism. And we were desperate to do something with it and restore it so it could be used and protected from future demolition. Sadly, many of our small vernacular buildings, farmhouses in not only the Waterford area, but Loudoun County in general, have been torn down over the years or have been expanded beyond recognition. And we hoped that this restoration would save this house from destruction and would help to inform future generations about this rural vernacular style of architecture. But thank you again for bestowing this award. We're deeply moved by it, and thank you so much.
thank you, Robert, for being the savior. I live in a very old home and just outside of Hillsborough, so I appreciate this even more. So
real-
Mine's a lot.
A real labor of love. I also totally understand and really appreciate what you all did and the wonderful job that your architect and contractor did as well. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. That's the best description you could give, is it's a labor of love.
Yes. All right. We have another award in the area of details. And this one is interesting. It is going to the Windy Hill Foundation for Herring View. What's wonderful about this project is that it shows that affordable housing can do those special little details that are necessary, and they acknowledge the fact that artwork actually gives the occupants a sense of place, a sense that they belong there, and more importantly, a sense of home. And for that very reason, we recognize the detail of the herring sculpture at the Herring View Affordable Housing Project. And Windy Hill Foundation, thank you very much for that. The receiver of the award will be Bob Dale. Are you on? I saw you earlier. Yeah,
I'm
there you
here.
are. Yeah, I see you there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And I want to thank the Loudoun Design Board for once again selecting another Windy Hill property. And it does go to show that you can make a affordable housing just look like any other housing. It got a bad name back in the 50s and 60s in Chicago and what they call the projects, but those days are long gone. And so just Herring View was developed by Windy Hill Foundation and Flatiron Partners out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The heron, of course, Herring View, that's where obviously this came from. And there's actually 3 sculptures there. I know you can't get it all in one picture, but it's called a heron in flight. And so it shows, it's pretty cool. And this is in Kincora, for those of you that probably aren't familiar with the location. So, there still is heron rookery located in the Kincora area there.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to, and again, just getting back to how we try and normalize the situations. There's a community room. There's a fitness center. This property has all the amenities of any other apartment buildings. 96 units, and I also want to thank Andrea Gonzalez, who's one that works for Flatiron. She's the one who really came up with this heron idea, and she got a local artist. I'm sorry, I should have found out who it was, but got a local artist to do this. So thank you again for the award.
Again, thank you. Congratulations.
Before we move on, I think that
we got
Mr.
John.
Burrows was, excuse me, before we move on, I think Mr. Burrows wanted to say a few words about the Walker tenant farmhouse. So I'm going to try to unmute him. Okay.
Can you hear me all right? And really all I wanted to say was just to thank the Thompsons so much for including us in that, because it really was just a wonderful project. To see a house like that, it was a bit dilapidated, but it was in its original state. I don't think it even had a bathroom inside. The woman that lived there used an outhouse up into her 90s. So it was great Bob did a lot of the work on it. He salvaged a lot of the materials. He redid the windows by hand. And also had just a wonderful vision for it. So, and it was great to see it sort of come back from the dead, as it were. And
and the fact that you used Mennonite carpenters to do a lot of the interior trim, which was just very fitting.
All hand done. And also, Drew Lawton of Lawton Construction, he was great to work with. He had great attention to detail and very dedicated to, realizing the Thompsons' vision.
Mhm.
So thank you for rescuing me from my my messing up of the Zoom system.
Yep. Well, John,
I'm glad we found
congratulations.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. We couldn't have done it without your skilled design, especially of the roof lines. That was a real challenge.
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Thanks, John. I'm glad we didn't lose you entirely. And Bob, I just wanted to say back to, Windy Hill Foundation, this is just another example of what a legacy the Windy Hill Foundation is leaving Loudoun County, not only in leading in the provision of affordable housing in the county, but also in leading in ensuring that affordable housing, as you said, has all the quality, if not more the quality in terms of design and amenities as any other housing in our community, and treating everyone with dignity and respect. And that's, it's a gift to the county that you continue to give to us all. So thank you for what Windy Hill Foundation does. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Keep up those good designs.
Alan Hansen, if I could add to that, it was Martha that called me and said, would you sit on this board here? It's called Windy Hill and so on. They built some great affordable housing, and I knew very, very little. 4.5 years later, I got a great education from the developer's standpoint. I mean, beyond just the wonderful opportunity to provide roofs for people that might otherwise not be able to afford it. And don't you know, here we are 5 years later after that, and that's a lot of the work that I'm involved with on a daily basis, sort of mixed use, commercial and the residential and the affordable housing. And there was the education. So thank you for the great experience. It was very helpful. Thank you, Bob and Martha.
Sure. Okay. That concludes our regular award categories, I guess, but we have a very special awards category that we've added in the last few years. That really, we recognized there was a void in our awards, and that we were awarding projects, but not awarding the leaders of design, those people who have the vision to elevate design in our community to a very special place. And so we created this Vision and Design Award. And we're really incredibly pleased to be able to award the design this year to Larry Rosenstrauch. And I know he's probably, going nuts that we actually did this, but Larry, he was actually the economic development director in Loudoun County when the Design Cabinet was created. And in fact, it was his brainchild, along with 2 other cabinets that provided advice and assistance to the Economic Development Department. And Larry really promoted the idea entire time he was working, even before the Design Cabinet was created, that good design is good business. And he created this along with Al Hansen, and I think maybe Al Gooden was there early on, created this idea to be able to help him promote good design through the county's economic development efforts. And so he helped us start the cabinet, not only our Design Excellence Awards, which you all are a part of this evening, but also a community charrette program, a design charrette program, where we will go into a community or, that has an issue, whether it's a neighborhood or a town or, one of our villages, and try to sit down with them for a half a day and brainstorm ideas to help them solve some of those design issues. And you know, the county, it wasn't that the county hadn't thought about design before Larry came, but Larry elevated the place of design in the county's deliberations, and he took it beyond just, we had lots of historic districts, and really county was in the forefront of good historic district design regulation and that kind of thing. But Larry got us beyond regulation, and the design cabinet afforded not only the county staff, but also the Board of Supervisors with an opportunity to celebrate good design in the community through this design excellence program. And to me, the most, besides the programs he created, it's Larry's passion for design that really drove innovation and really made a difference in Loudoun County and the quality of the communities we live in today here in Loudoun County. For example, when we would have our design cabinet charrettes, Larry would bring a bunch of toys out. That might be some of them there in the picture, actually, you know, just to get us all excited and having fun, and you know, and enjoying brainstorming and creating some wonderful solutions for the county. The cabinet, we're eternally grateful for the seed that Larry planted that has blossomed into the design cabinet, into the Design Excellence Award program, into the design charrette services, and into the design ethos, I guess you'd say, that has gotten into all of Loudoun's planning work and our economic development efforts. I think we can all see the results of that throughout the county, in the wonderful buildings that we have, in the many buildings we've celebrated in our many years of doing this design awards program. So Larry, for your initiative, for your creative energy, and we really just want to celebrate you and what you have given to the county. And we just can only hope that we can continue the legacy that you started here for many years to come. So I'm so happy that you could join us today. Larry is in a beautiful place in North Carolina. And he really did retire, I think, unlike me. So Larry, I hope that you can, congratulations to you. And we're so pleased to give you this award and hope that you have a microphone and can say something. I'm not sure if you can or can't.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, there you are.
Okay.
Yes, he's there.
Okay. Well, I'll say a few things, just briefly. You've said everything, Martha, that really needs to be said. When Kirby Bowers, the county manager, met with Alan Hansen back in 2003 about some idea for design awards, I think he was looking for somebody that was far out in the county that he could send Alan to, and it turned out to be me. And so Alan and I got to have a lot of time together to think about this, and I couldn't see any downside to doing a cabinet or something like this, and it was only an upside. And the worst case was I got to meet some of the coolest designers and planners in the region and have breakfast and play with them every month or two. And so why wouldn't you do something like this? And it seems like the cabinet has evolved into this wonderful tool that does two things great. It provides a big thank you to all the project teams, the owners, the designers, the financiers, the people that make all these wonderful projects possible to happen. And now it's moved into, for the last 15 or so years, into providing big ideas to those who want to think about how to do good design. And I just remembered when I was doing economic development and somebody would come in with a project from out of town, I could point to those signatures aloud and posters on the wall and say, I want to see you on the wall next year or in 5 years with something great that makes something happen in the county. And that actually seemed to take with people and resonate a little bit. You could get a little bit of a sense of competition. So I want to thank really the cabinet and Alan for getting going all these years, because you wouldn't really be thanking me if the execution hadn't been superb. And I think it was superb because it was fun. At least I sensed that from every time I was with you guys. But it was also serious when you guys would gather to make the decisions on the design awards. They were not frivolous in any kind of way of looking through that. And I really should thank all the people that were involved in all the projects with the signature of Loudoun, all these years that have put all those posters on the wall and made Loudoun County so exceptional. So thank you. I hope you can keep finding Allens and Owls to continue on the tradition of the cabinet.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Larry. It's great to see you again.
You too.
Yeah. And anybody else want Al, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm looking at this picture. By the way, the best laid plans. Just when it's time to talk, they're vacuuming the floor here at DBI. So isn't that just the way? Isn't that just the way it all goes? But so I'm going to talk because she's moving my way. So I'm going to speak quickly. Yeah, notice that picture. You got 3 Al's and a Larry. Larry, you're absolutely outnumbered here. But beyond that, I've never had a relationship with a, kind of a government leader that was part program manager and creator, but also director of fun. And those toys and signs on the front doors and so on, I think you had a lot to say about how to do these things successfully, especially with a bunch of creative people. I mean, everybody we've had on that cabinet have been, more on the design, architectural side, the art side, I guess, than the engineering side. So I said all that to say, Larry, thank you. I'll never forget the experience. We're actually coming down to North Carolina in about 3 weeks and look forward to getting together with you again. Larry's in New Bern, the birthplace of Pepsi Cola. So he doesn't, everything he does is creative, including finding Pepsi, I guess. So Larry, thank you. Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Yeah, and a simple thing that, take the business end of the, business development. What I've enjoyed so much is when we do get a chance to do charrettes and we actually get into the idea that the great design actually influences people on where they want to live, where they want to worship, where they want to work, and Loudoun County has proved that. And what's great is when a certain genre, let's say data centers, for instance, or, and Mr. Hanson, your favorite thing, storage facilities, when they actually start imposing good design into those spaces, they are competing and they are filling up. So Larry, thank you for bringing that to the surface for our county. And you know what, we've become the benchmark for other areas to kind of say, hey, we can do this too. So Larry, thank you.
And I want to thank all of the awards folks that came and joined, the award winners that joined us this evening in this unusual ceremony for us. We hope to resume our regular awards program next year where we can meet hopefully in person in front of the Board of Supervisors. But you can think of this as being a very special program since we're recorded. We will be the official pandemic version for the archives of the Design Awards program. So that's special in itself. And I did, again, really want to congratulate all the award winners, some great projects. We had some hard decisions to make. These were easy. All of these decisions were easy. Yeah, we hope you continue to think about us and bring us projects in the future and continue to together build this beautiful community that we have here in Loudoun County.
Martha, if I could just add, it's still a life dream, maybe through the American Institute of Architects, APA, whatever it's going to be, to take this program, what we do nationally. I think this design cabinet concept could benefit every jurisdiction in the United States, but you've got to have a county and some individuals that are volunteering their time to pour themselves into it, 100%. So Larry, maybe, and others, maybe that's something else we can talk about in the future.
Great.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.